These are the Chinese news, and now the main headlines. They say once you lose the one you love, someone very close to you, someone that is very intimate, and when you are heartbroken, crying and grieving, they say you want to remember everything about them so badly. That is why the British government decided to bring segregation to the Queen's funeral. Black leaders on buses and white leaders in limousines to satisfy her spirit. Because the Queen symbolizes colonization in every sense of the word. Even everything she owns, the crown, the orb, her gold, diamonds, clothes, has stolen, written all over it. Thou shalt not steal. Emotional damage for Africa. You're now watching a Chinese news. No more BBC excuse. The sun has finally set on the Jews.
You are now watching Russian news. And now the headlines. Whiskey, get me some vodka, it's getting cold. The reason why the British and the West try to humiliate African leaders by putting them in bus like school children has nothing to do with African leaders. The British are trying to say to other countries, if you support Russia like Africans, this is what will happen to you. They are saying don't support Russia and support Ukraine. Because if you support Russia like Africans, you'll be humiliated. First, we'll use their media, CNN, BBC, to convince the world that you are a monster, dictator, suppressor, oppressor. And then we'll sanction, isolate and make you our pet. This is the message they're trying to convey. But Africa, don't worry. Russia has your back, and we know black don't crack.
You are now watching the Ethiopian news. When the British government tried to disrespect the African leaders, most of the African leaders took the offer to arrive in the funeral by bus. But the Ethiopian leader declined, took a limousine and arrived gracefully in the funeral. The Ethiopian leader showed the world African leaders have dignity and integrity. She showed the world that color is not a transportation factor. You are now watching BBC News. I am joined by Professor Jamatunde. Professor Jamatunde, thank you for being on BBC. So, Professor Jamatunde, help me understand, why are some people making a big deal out of the African leaders who attended the funeral on a bus? I mean, well, first of all, the whole point of coming to a funeral, in my opinion, is to step out of your comfort zone and to support and console the people who are hurt, heartbroken and grieving. It's not about having a royalty treatment. And my second point is, the whole point of a car is to get you from point A to point B. It could be a bus, a limousine, and help me understand, please, Professor Jamatunde.
You know what? You are right. But let us reverse it. Let us put all of the leaders of Europe, France, Germany, Italy, all of the leaders and the sleepy Joe Biden in one bus. And let us put all of the leaders of Africa in limousines. Because the whole point of transportation is to get from point A to point B.
Oh my goodness. Professor Jamatunde, that is absurd and you know it.
Oh, that was a good one.
Professor Jamatunde, you see, I was told, and this is classified of course, that there were lots of Russian spies at the funeral. So if we put all of the leaders of Europe and Joe Biden in one bus, all Vladimir Putin has to do is press one button, kaboom, and Vladimir Putin wins the war against Ukraine in the West. Just like that.
Are you saying you want another funeral at the Queen's funeral?
So you really want me to believe that the funeral apartheid segregation arrangement was made for security reasons, huh? You are one silly kigger.
I beg your pardon, a kigger?
Kigger, a Caucasian nigger.
Professor Jamatunde, you're out of line.
Listen, just because it is your show does not mean I'm out of line. I'm expressing my views. Freedom of speech. Out of line. You were out of line. Your government was out of line when you put head of state on a bus. Did your government bother to give them a lunch box as well? Did your government give them Crayola colors so they can draw the queen? Out of line. You don't know out of line if it beat you in the face like a cobra.
Professor Jamatunde, thank you for being on BBC. I'm afraid we're running out of time. Thank you.
Don't cut me! Don't cut me!
My goodness. What the bloody hell was he thinking? I don't understand. If David Beckham, the most talented footballer in this planet and the most handsome man in this universe with the face of an angel and a squeaky voice can line up like everybody else, the least the African leaders can do is take a ride on a bus. What is this world coming to, really? Rest in peace, the Queen's monarchy, white supremacy, and Britain's foreign policy.
This kigger cut me.